Welcome back, guys, to our Compact YouTube channel. If you are new here, then make sure you go and like and subscribe. Today I want to talk about saving money and ways to reduce the cost of competing. If you haven't looked already, then make sure you go and look at the competing budget planner, which we have on the website. There is a really valid reason why I created that Excel spreadsheet, because you don't realize the cost of competing until you start. But I really want to try and encourage people to look at these costs and really try and plan ahead. But there's also ways of reducing those costs while actually not sacrificing anything in regards to your show day look or your placings. Like, there's some really good ways to go about saving money and just getting the most out of the money that you've worked so hard for. So I'm basically gonna go through a couple of things in the competing world, which I find are like the best ways, and like they really do add up, especially when you kind of look at each show and you look at each season as well. You can really start to make your money last a little bit longer. So first thing I want to go into is bikinis. A lot of people will want to buy the most embellished bikini for their first show. I did it myself. However, what I tend to do now is I will do a rental bikini. Rental bikinis range around the £100 mark, but what you will find is that you're able to stretch your money. So you might be spending £400-500 on one stage suit, whereas instead you could get 3 different rentals if you're doing 3 different shows for about £300, and you can save a lot of money that way while also experimenting and trialing with different colors. Whereas if you're having to buy a brand new suit custom to you every single time, then obviously that's going to start to rack up quite a lot. We also have the secondhand marketplace on the Compact website where you can look at getting a secondhand bikini, but I do think a rental bikini is such a great way to save money, especially if you are a first timer and you're only going to be doing maybe 1 or 2 shows. Then that's going to be saving you maybe £200 by just having those rental bikinis instead. I know that you can actually go and visit the bikini makers and actually try on the rental suits beforehand and ahead of time. So from a bikini point of view, look at rentals, but also don't feel like you have to go for the most embellished suit. Even though they do look amazing, you can also get a less embellished suit which isn't going to be compromising anything, and you're still going to be looking absolutely amazing. So that's the advice I would give for bikinis. The next thing I want to go into is tan. Okay, I keep telling people, just do your base coat, and people are so scared to do it. But trust me, this Pro Tan base coat is no different than doing any other tan that you've got at home. And if you do want to be saving your money long term, then you can be saving a lot of money if you just try ahead of time doing your own base coat. Like, I use the Pro Tan base coat as my normal like day-to-day tanning. But if you think about it, if you do your own base coat over 3 or 4 shows, you could be saving at least £100. If you are competing abroad, then a lot of the tans abroad are a lot more expensive. Whereas if you can do your own base coat, which, for example, the base coat here, off the top of my head, I can't remember, it's about £20 to £25. This will last you. This is a 3 times darker, but this one will last you a long, really long time. I know a lot of people that they'll be competing abroad and they're competing abroad with a friend, maybe 2 or 3 of them. They will buy one base coat and it will sort them all out. And it also means you can kind of control like the level of darkness you go to. A lot of people have an issue where they aren't dark enough, whereas if you can control your base coat, you'll be also saving money but being able to create the look you want to have on stage. I always find doing a base coat yourself and then having the top coat with the tanners means that you're saving money by not having to spend on that base coat, but you're also able to have that security on show day with the top coat. So I just think it's like bulletproof, to be honest with you. So doing your tan, obviously if you could do the tan completely by yourself, then that'd be amazing. But if you're kind of like not too sure, or that feels a little bit too like outside your comfort zone, just go for your base coat. You'll be surprised how much money you can save by doing that. A lot of people will only actually buy a hotel for the night before the show because they need to do their base coat appointment. Whereas if you're doing that yourself, then you might actually be saving on a hotel night as well as the cost of the base coat. So head over to the website, have a look at the tutorials and give it a go yourself. I think you'll be very, very surprised. The next thing I want to go into, another way that you can be saving a lot of money long term, is posing shoes. I think what sometimes happens in this industry is that people see the big sparkly thing and they think that they have to wear it or they have to have it in order to do well in the sport. Now, I would hate for someone to buy Del Monte heels, which are a lot more money than a plain style. I would hate someone to buy Del Monte heels because they feel like they have to, because they feel like the judges are looking for it. That's what the judges are looking for. Or if I don't do that, I'm not going to look as good. I can tell you now, if you look at the Olympia pro lineups, it's usually split halfway. Some people are wearing plain, some people are wearing Del Monte. If you are looking to save money, buy a plain heel. Do not look at the sparkly Del Monte and go for that, especially if you have never tried this style before. So obviously this is a Glory 502. Say for example, you've never tried a Glory style before, then you should be going for the plain version of that style first before investing in the £100 plus for that Del Monte heel. Because what if you buy that shoe, the Glory 508 DMs, and you've never tried the Glory before, and then after maybe a couple of months you realize they're not the shoe for you, but you spent all this money on a style that you're never actually going to wear. And a lot of times the plain is, you know, it's fault proof. You know it's going to go with every single stage look. I can't stress this enough. Do not feel obliged or don't feel pressured to buy the Del Monte. A, if you don't really want to, but B, if money is tight. Like, you can save a good 50, 60, 70 pound by just buying the plain, and then you can spend that money on other things such as your tan or competition jewelry or just anything like that. So another way to save money is buy the plain. I do like a plain, I'm just going to be honest with you. Another way you can be saving money long term, a lot of people will feel the need to buy a brand new custom bikini suit every single time. Now that is not feasible for a lot of people, but they really want to find a way to switch up their stage look while also keeping the cost down. So another way you can do that is by simply switching the way you do your hair, the way you do your makeup, competition jewelry. You can maybe try a different style of earrings. And these little tweaks, you'd be so surprised how that really does change the stage look without having to spend so much money on a brand new custom bikini suit. So start to be a little bit creative, start to kind of look and see, right, how can I tweak things without having to spend so much money on buying a brand new bikini suit? And I do think you can completely transform a look by changing the hair, change the makeup, even perfecting your tan a little bit better and changing your competition jewelry. So make sure before you're looking at the brand new glitzy bikini suit, you're looking at what you can do with what you already have to change it and switch it up. The next thing I want to talk about as well is looking at federations. So every single federation is going to have different prices and different costings. Some of them are more expensive than others. So if you are being realistic and you think, I actually can't afford to go to the other side of the country to do that federation that I want to do, or the money won't stretch as far to compete in that federation, the entry fee is just way too high, then there are so many other federations out there where you can get a great show experience, you can get a great result, and you can keep progressing. And sometimes it's just a case of being realistic and think, do you know what? That federation I want to go for is not in my budget this year, and that's fine because there's plenty of other shows and other federations that you can go for. So don't feel bad about that. Competing, as I say, is an expensive sport. So play the long game. Try a few of the other federations that their entry fee isn't as high, maybe the location's closer to you, so that's not going to be as much money in terms of travel or hotel and things like that. Another thing as well is if you know someone else is competing in that show, then share a hotel room with them. You'd be surprised, all these little things can really, really add up. And also as well, if you are good with your hair and your makeup or your tan, then do it yourself, give it a go. For me personally, you will never see me really do my own makeup. As you can tell, I'm useless, but I could do my tan no problem. I know other people that can do their hair and makeup but they can't do their tan. So they will spend more money on their tan, but they will save money with doing their own hair and makeup. So it's kind of looking at your own skill set and thinking, right, what can I do to cut the cost and save a little bit of money? And as I say, you will be so surprised if you add it up. I think last year, by doing the few little tweaks that I've mentioned, I think I easily saved about £500-600 on my own competing. And it didn't take away from my stage look, it didn't take away from the result, it didn't take away from anything, but it meant that I was using my money a little bit more wisely. So they're kind of the main tips that I would kind of suggest you consider if you are looking at saving money with your own competing journey. I have actually got a blog as well, which I'll leave link down below, but just be creative and you will be surprised of how much further your money can go. If you have any ideas that I've missed, then I'd love to hear them, so drop them down in the comments below. But I hope that has been helpful. Anything else that you want us to cover, then please do let us know too, and we'll see you in the next video.